Sometimes parents are concerned about their child learning more than one language. And they worry that if a child has a language delay, maybe it would be difficult for them to learn multiple languages. Well, there is no research that suggests that a child who has difficulty learning their first language should not be exposed to other languages. That's not how the human brain works. That's not how Allah created the brain. We have 8 billion cells in the human brain. 8 billion cells. So we have an unlimited availability for exposure to different phonemes. And phonemes means that initial sound of a letter of the alphabet, for example. Those phonemes for different languages. So children, even if they have autism or have Down syndrome, they should be exposed to multiple languages. The issue is that the language acquisition device in the brain in Brocau's area and Wernicke's area starts slowing down in its functioning somewhere at the end of early childhood, around age 7 or 8 years of age. And so it's important to understand that the earlier that you expose your child to multiple languages, the better. But what if the parents only know one language? Then what should they do? Well, if the parents only know one language, that's the value of schools. The child can go to school and be exposed to a second language. Now, for example, we're here in Turkey, and there are many Syrian refugees under protection from the government, and so they know already that children are exposed to and have receptive language of Arabic, but they haven't learned Turkish yet. So the way to help them learn Turkish so that they can manage 2 languages is early exposure. And I'm talking about reading books to them as early as possible. But if the parent only knows one language, then in public school, the child can be exposed to learning the second language. And it's very important to do that early, because if not, somewhere around the end of early childhood, somewhere around the time the child starts 4th grade, it will become more difficult to learn a second language. Now, I can give you an example. My son with autism, he didn't start speaking his first word until he was 4 years old. And so up until he was roughly 5, he kept mixing sign language with words. And then, because he was used to hearing us speak Spanish and Portuguese and English, he then started doing what's called code switching. He would sometimes say half of the sentence in English and half of the sentence in Spanish. And that's nothing to be worried about in early childhood, prior to 4th grade. It's just a sign that the child's brain is still putting all of the words they hear into one giant dictionary in their brain. And somewhere around the end of early childhood, around age 9, the child is able to separate out the different words from the different languages into separate dictionaries. So when my autistic son, for example, would say, Mama, vamos ir derecho ahead, he was mixing Spanish and English. But by the time he was 9, he would then either say the whole sentence in Spanish or the whole sentence in English. So it's crucial to understand that it is important, very useful for strengthening cognitive functioning, to expose every child, even a child with some sort of difficulty with language, to multiple languages. Thank you for listening.
تعالي هون خدي القشرة معك كبيها بالزبالة. خدي القشرة كبيها، ولا أنا اللي لازم كبها دائما؟ أنا بدي كب كل شي بهالبيت وساوي كل شي. أنا بس أفتح البسكوتة وخلص باخد القشرة معي كبها سلة الزبالة.